We're going to go straight to Washington now, where Sudeep Reddy joins me this morning with a look at what's happening with these sequester cuts. Sudeep, good morning to you.
Good morning, Kelsey.
All right, so, these cuts were designed to be so painful that neither side would dare allow them to happen, and yet here we are. We're going to take a look now at what exactly this means, who gets hit, looking at the breakdown of the sequester cuts here. We're $42 billion in discretionary defense, $26 billion in discretionary non-defense, Medicare $11 billion, and on here. So tell me what this really means for the economy.
It certainly will be a hit to the economy, but it won't be immediate. It won't be noticeable at first, and that's what's really different here. If you look at all the battles we've had here in Washington about the budget, around the debt ceiling, around prior government shutdown threats, and of course, most recently around the fiscal cliff, you saw some serious concern early on that as soon as these deadlines passed, you'd see some effect either on confidence or on the markets, and we're obviously near a high for the markets, so you're not going to see it there. This is going to take weeks and months to trickle out into the economy. The furloughs, for instance, of government workers are not going to start until early April, and so this really puts to test the political views of both parties about whether people will notice or care about substantial reductions to their government services.
And so if that is the case, then it'll significantly impact the political blame game that's supposedly going to happen here, because if nothing really is affected, people don't feel affected too much, are they really going to blame one side more than the other, as each side's hoping?
Well, a lot of people around the country are going to shrug their shoulders and say, what's all this fuss about? But if you're in a military community in Georgia or North Carolina or New Mexico, then this is going to be severe. This is going to be a huge, huge hit to your economy. It's going to be devastating to a lot of communities, and not just to the workers, the civilian workers around those military operations, but also to the car dealers, to the real estate operations. Everything around all these communities are going to be hit. And you're probably going to start noticing that in the coming weeks, even before the furloughs, because people are going to be anticipating the potential reductions in their paychecks without Washington doing that much of hope to actually deal with this.
And it's interesting, Sudeep, you and I are sitting here talking about this morning. For the last weeks or months, a lot of people in the media have been talking a lot about it. And yet today, for the first time, the president is sitting down face to face with congressional leaders. How come they haven't gotten in the same room to hash this out before?
Well, obviously this is a different kind of a budget fight than the prior ones, because it's not going to necessarily produce that immediate hit that people will notice. And in some ways, the clock is really starting today to get a deal. We still have 30 days before the furloughs take effect. We still have quite a bit of time before you would actually see some of these reductions people have warned about. And so this is basically a photo op that we'll see today from the president and the congressional leaders to make it seem like they're doing at least talking, even though they're not really talking about anything of substance right now.
And in fact, congressional leaders went home for the weekend, didn't they?
Exactly. The Congress is gone, and so they're going to be out waiting and watching to see whether there's any real effect on people from these cuts.
And I'm wondering, Sudeep, do you think the American people just sort of gotten to the point where they think, oh, they'll get it done, they won't let us go over any sort of cliff or anything like that, or let the economy go down, so that I don't really have to pay attention, because I know in the last 11th hour they'll get a deal done, and yet this time it may be different, and that people may start to take notice? And what will happen then?
That's a great point, and that's the great risk of this particular strategy. Every time we've gone up to the 11th hour and we've gotten a deal, and in this case, you've heard in some of the political talking points from Republicans that this is only 2.5% of the overall federal budget. It's almost 10% of discretionary spending, and so once you actually see this take effect, it's going to create a different kind of an environment, a different kind of experience for people. And we don't really know the consequences of this once it takes hold, because people are so unprepared for an actual cutting environment in the budget.
All right, Sudeep, thanks so much for joining us this morning with all the information on this. We appreciate it. And of course, everybody stay tuned to WSJ.com throughout the day for more information on the sequester, and of course that meeting at 10 a.m. Eastern time between the president and congressional leaders.